ये देखो भाई, सेल्फ बैलेंसिंग इलेक्ट्रिक स्कूटर है यामा का। ये देखो टच नहीं हो रहा बिल्कुल भी नीचे, सेल्फ बैलेंसिंग है, मतलब खुद ही कंट्रोल करेगा। तो यामा भी ऐसी चीज़ है भाई, जल्दी इंडिया में लॉन्च करने वाला है, देख रहे हो। खतरनाक चीज़ है, मतलब आप लोग बस बैठ जाओ, आपको जो है गिरने नहीं देगा, खुद ही चलेगा। उसने हाथ भी छोड़ रखे हैं और पैर भी दोनों ऊपर टेक रखे हैं, तब भी भाई इतना ज़बरदस्त तरीके से चल रहा है। तो कैसा लगा भाई कमेंट बॉक्स में बताओ जल्दी से, और फॉलो कर लो। एक और तबाही यहाँ पे खड़ी है, इसको भी दिखाऊंगा जल्दी।
Buddy in there sleeping good as hell.
And where are they at? Really? I don't see anything, Mom.
Hey, that actually kind of looked real. The makeup artist did a pretty good job on that.
Flat Earth. Do you believe it? Or do you believe that the Earth is round? If we look at the map, a flat Earth map, if you go into Google and Google flat Earth, this is the map that comes up. This right here. This is the flat Earth map. This map looks a whole lot like this map. This is the logo for the UN, the United Nations. And these are the olive branches. It represents peace. But this is the logo, which looks a whole lot like this, right? Or am I just bugging? But wait, what about this logo? This is the logo for the World Health Organization. As you can see, the olive branches and the flat Earth map. Now, I'm not a flat earther and I'm not a round earther. To me, there is a lot of good solid points on both sides of the argument, and I'm not going to brush either side off. There's arguments that we can't go into outer space, and there's arguments that, yeah, there's weak spots in the Van Allen radiation belt that we can pass through. But then again, there's a lot of people saying that we can't. I don't know. But one thing that does strike me odd about going into outer space is we went to the moon 50 years ago, but for some reason we lost the technology to go there again? That doesn't make any sense to me. So, unless there is concrete evidence on one side or the other, I'm gonna compare flat Earth and round Earth to Schrodinger's cat. You know, until there's solid evidence, it's neither flat nor round. What do you guys think?
And programs for technological advancement. This 100-page declassified document from the CIA library, approved for release in the year 2000, includes doctoral dissertations defended in the Scientific Council of the Institute of Physics of the Atmosphere and Institute of Applied Geophysics in the USSR. In it, we find detailed descriptions of experimentation sponsored by the Academy of Sciences of the Soviet Union, most notably atmospheric studies on light scattering. They list several methods and tools used to determine the differences in luminosity of the firmament, mentioning it by name on page 18. Page 19 is where it gets good. We have the mention of a near-sun halo in the opening lines, and then the kicker. This dissertation contains a certain formula of the brightness of the sky, taking into consideration only the brightness of the first order, and derived on the assumption of a flat Earth, and giving some conclusions derived on the basis of this formula. And again, on this same page, the author makes a distinction between the sky and the firmament. Quote, a method is also proposed of determining the brightness of the clear daylight sky at any point based on measuring the brightness along the almancator of the sun and of 5 to 6 points on the firmament located at various zenith distances.
I don't know if it's flat, square, round, triangle, but I do know they definitely not telling us everything.
Y con las dos manos sí caminó, ¿verdad? Con usted. Y nunca se le ha salido. ¿Qué onda, Fabián? Agárrale, hijo.
Trying to get the doll to work. It's malfunctioning a little bit. But it's pretty creepy, I gotta admit that.
Mira, 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 mira. Mira. ¿Ya viste?
Beautiful, sweet turbine spooling up right now. I'm gonna wait for heat in the engine here. And crank the throttle. What's cool is I can start to feel the rotor from my butt through the e-box haptic actuators. So everything's getting turned on here. Turn the governor on. And now I'm just gonna wait for my RPMs to get up in the green here. It's gonna happen, it's starting to rise right now. That happens, check. Got full movement. And this thing is ready for liftoff.
Hey, the way that lifted off, it seemed kind of real. It almost felt like I was inside that helicopter for a second.
There absolutely is a frequency of success. It's an emotion. Over in Germany, they have this concept called Freudenfreude, and it's basically the most efficient way to tap into the energy, the emotion of winning. To experience Freudenfreude, all you have to do is surround yourself, or even just your social media algorithms, with people who are winning, people who are accomplishing their goals, people who are doing well. And all you have to do is catch yourself when you see someone talking about something good that happened to them. Maybe they got a promotion, maybe they hit a new milestone in their business, maybe they just went on a dream vacation, or just purchased their dream home. All of these would work. But now, instead of just hearing them talk about it, you're going to imagine that it happened to you. This is Freudenfreude, a term made up by social scientists to describe the joy you feel when someone else is prospering. When you take
Look, and that's real right there. That's why I don't know why there's so many haters out here. Because when I see somebody being successful, it makes me genuinely feel like I'm doing it. I feel like I'm happy. And like, people need to take notes, because there ain't no reason to sit around and hate for no reason.
Take a moment to focus and imagine that these good things are actually happening to you. You can practice it and get so good at it that you emotionally feel the joy that they're feeling. The energy itself doubles, and that's the mental unlock. That is the cheat code. Seeing and experiencing for yourself that you can literally experience insanely positive emotions even if it's not happening to you. Energy is contagious, success is an energy, and you can tap into it.
Goosebumps are piloerections, which happens when the two hemispheres of the brain are syncing together to create grey matter in the brain, which is the Christos, the Kundalini, which goes down the spine. Resurrection. Res is resh, meaning head. Erection is the piloerection. If you cannot create a piloerection by will, you cannot raise your Kundalini. If you can generate these goosebumps by will, you will feel a tingling sensation in the brain, which will then spread down the body. Use your mind to focus on on this energy, this tingling sensation at the base of the spine, and raise it up to the brain again. You'll then feel your brain become hollow and filled with tingling sensations and light. It's one of the most divine experiences you could ever have. Oh, look at my skin. There's no goosebumps, nothing. This is all clear. Now watch this. This is mental control over the electric nervous system in the brain, sending electrical currents through the body. The tingling sensation you feel is the increase in brain activity. If you can't do it by will, you can practice this because it is a muscle. You can use frequencies as well to activate them. And when you feel the tingling sensation coming, you need to hold on to it and raise it from the base of the spine up to the brain.
So today I'm about to put you guys onto the Emerald Tablets. This was written way before the Bible, way before the Quran, way before anything. They were all inspired by this. If the truth is something that gets you mad, frustrated, or angry, don't even watch this video. So in this book, it talks about how a character named Thoth in Egypt, he was described as a guy with a bird head. In Greece, he was described as Hermes. And in Rome, he was described as Mercury. Now, in real life, Thoth does not have an actual bird head. He's depicted as such because the ibis birds bring darkness into light. Because the beak is so long, it drives into the mud to bring substance up. So Thoth was the wisdom keeper. He was the one to introduce time, calendar, the art of writing, astrology. He introduced music, he introduced art. So he basically put on a lot of people. In the scriptures, it tells you how the pyramids were made, how Thoth went to Egypt and helped them become a civilization. And then when he was done in Egypt, he came to Mexico and helped build a civilization here. And that is the reason why the pyramids in Mexico mirror the pyramids in Giza. So the Emerald Tablets teaches you how to treat other people, how to treat yourself, love one another, and how to overcome evil. The Emerald Tablets even talks about how there's going to be evil people that's going to run the world, and you have to be weary of that because they're going to try to dispel a bunch of dark energy on you, and you have to be the light. So if you're in a dark room, right, even if you have a little bit of light, that darkness will flee. And if you have that light, no matter how much darkness will come into you, you know what I mean, there will not be darkness, bro. You know what I mean? So try to be that light. Now, according to Thoth, only free-thinking individuals that use their own conscious thought are capable of moving to the next level of consciousness. The first ever baptism is also talked about in the Emerald Tablets. It talks about how you get baptized every time you raise your consciousness. It has nothing to do with splashing yourself underwater. Basically, when you reach another level of consciousness where you can see your past self and feel like you've been born again. Now, the sad thing is that over time, the scriptures were remixed and altered so they could control the people and keep them asleep and keep them controlled. This is why when the colonizers came to America, they forced them to read the Bible, bruh. So I'm gonna end this video by this philosophy. I don't know nothing, but I question everything.
It's suspicious as shit that NASA has a statue of a Nazi right outside one of their buildings. Now, why do they have this statue? Because this guy right here is considered the father of rocket science. He is one of the men that sent us to the moon. His name is Werner von Braun, and he is from Nazi Germany. Back in 1945 to 1959, over 1,600 Nazis came over as a part of Operation Paperclip, and they all went to integral parts in the United States. This guy became the director of NASA. During the war, he made rockets for Nazi Germany. And in 1944, he was the first man to put an artificial object in outer space. So he was very good at his job. But let's not forget he was a Nazi. All of his Nazi war crimes were completely forgiven by the United States under Operation Paperclip, to the point where he was doing deals with Walt Disney like he didn't do shit back in Germany. On top of being the director of NASA and putting us on the moon and having a statue in front of NASA now, and they even give an award out in honor of him, the CIA made him a special speaker at one of their events back in 1974. We knew this guy was a Nazi, and we were still putting him up on this pedestal. That's suspicious as shit.
The U.S. got beef with you when you can't help, but when you can benefit them, they'll definitely spare you every time.
What is amazing, man?
Can you see this pink girl here?
Pink girl? No, I can't see the pink girl.
We done seen the symbolism on the US dollar a million times, but this one right here, this one caught me off guard. TikTok, this for entertainment purposes only.
Like somebody hanging. But if you look up
Them is little baby heads.
the pillars
not columns. RP Tartaria, man.
Them do kind of look like heads hanging. But I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all believe.
Who the fuck are they? Who are they?
Look at that. Them is not
Those are
columns.
not pillars. Those are
Severed heads.
people.
Allegedly.
Who are these people? Who are these people?
The old world, the folks that ran the old world.
So I saw a video about
Before the reset.
$20 bill. It's not gonna
Look at
hurt
this,
me,
bro.
man. And they was saying it looked like somebody hanging. But if you look up here at the pillars,
That's crazy. That's
who the fuck are they?
crazy. The video I took, this is no cap. It's really there.
Get out of here.
You hear me? Yapping. And if y'all know, that fiat dollar is not backed by nothing. That paper cotton note that they give you is no different than the toilet paper used to wipe your ass.
Or man. Oh shit, what is that? Oh my god, put in the water. It's coming out of the water. Yeah, this thing is creepy, man. What the hell?
That ain't nothing but fish ordering LED lights for the party they having for that night. Carry on.
Stay over there. Hook up to the video. Taking a dip. I don't know what I am.
This is all the things that happened in the last month that the mainstream news won't tell you about. We now officially know what happens when we die. A recent study that was done showed that a man who had passed away, his brain was still active for around 8 minutes after death and was basically using the same patterns as dreaming. Sea levels are rising extremely rapidly all around the globe, and it's reported that coastal areas in the UK and even places like New York in America will be completely submerged by 2050. A new company have just unveiled their tech which is going to be able to record your dreams and play them back to you. Yeah, I'm not joking. Predictions have started coming true for 2024. This is the mystic Baba Vanga who predicted things with an alarming accuracy rate of over 85%, and she had some crazy predictions for 2024 such as an economic crisis, solar storms, and loads more stuff, and they're already starting to come true. Scientists are wanting to bring back the Tasmanian tiger. Great, well that's a good idea. Saudi Arabia's line, which is going to be this huge project of 105 miles long, is now decreasing to 1 kilometre. What is the flipping point? But yeah, make sure you hit that follow button, I'll keep you updated.
Dream playback seem pretty creepy. Some of the dreams I'll be having, I don't know if I want to see them, but some of them I might want to take a peep at because I'll be having some crazy dreams sometimes.
This woman killed her whole family and blamed it on the eclipse, and you actually have people believing it, bro. So this astrology influencer that goes by Danielle or Mystic Lipstick not only took the life of her partner randomly, but also pushed her kids out of a moving vehicle while she was driving on the highway. And
sounds to me that she was in way too deep. You gotta balance, people. Can't go all the way in sometimes.
only one child survived, thank God. Police are saying that they believe it has something to do with the eclipse due to things that she wrote prior to the day coming. Now you got crystal fanatics believing that she was messing with the wrong spirits or she was manifesting the wrong energy from the eclipse. That's what caused her to do this. So we're not gonna all agree that there was something mentally wrong with her. We're gonna blame the crystals. We're gonna blame the crystals. We're going to blame the moon coming in front of the sun for what she did. When the moon came in front of the sun, you know what I did? I went and got me some food. Took me a nap. Rest in peace to the lives lost. What do you guys think about this situation?
For someone to do that, obviously got something mentally wrong with them. She might have been influenced by outside forces, but deep down, the core was definitely a mental disability.
Here are some morbid facts about O.J. Simpson. This 1994 photo shows O.J. holding hands with his children at the funeral of their mother and his ex-wife, Nicole Simpson Brown. She was brutally stabbed to death, purportedly by O.J. himself, even though he was famously acquitted in court a few months later. During the funeral, O.J. reportedly spent a significant amount of time with Nicole's body and was even seen kissing her on the lips. O.J.'s father was a well-known drag queen in San Francisco and died of AIDS in 1986. Soon after O.J. was acquitted, he wrote a book called If I Did It. It was a hypothetical description of the murders if he had actually committed them, and he knew he wouldn't be tried in court thanks to double jeopardy laws. The victims' families responded by suing and won all rights to the book, eventually changing the word if to appear really small on the cover. But in the nearly 30 years since Ron Goldman's family won a $33.5 million civil judgment against O.J. for wrongful death, he had only paid the family about $500K.
It is rumored that on August 12, 1799, French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte visited the Great Pyramid. After eventually making his way up to the so-called King's Chamber, Napoleon asked his guide and assistants to leave him so that he could be left alone inside. After a long period of time, Napoleon finally emerged from out of the pyramid looking rather pale. When an aide asked him if he had witnessed anything mysterious, Napoleon abruptly replied, "No comment," and then in a hushed tone whispered that he never wanted the incident mentioned again. Now, just before Napoleon is exiled, he was on the verge of apparently confiding in his personal recorder or historian about what happened to him inside the Great Pyramid. He suddenly changed his mind and begins to shake his head and said, quote, "No, what's the use? You'd never believe me."
I wonder what he went up there and saw, because it definitely had him shook.
So, there's no evidence reptilians are real, right? Just some stupid modern-day conspiracy with no evidence. It's not like every culture has documented this all throughout history. Well, there is. The India Sarpa/Sarbine reptile people, Nagas in Sanskrit. In Africa, the Sierra Leone made statues of the Nomale, with a really interesting sky-falling story backstory we'll come back to. Sumerian reptile people, ancient Egypt serpent gods, and on a whole other level, dragons. From China to the Mideast, South and Central America. Cultures all over the world have seen dragons. Check out this clip. At the very beginning, you're going to see a swoop by, and at the very end, you're also going to see a swoop by. At the end, when it's paused, you're going to see wings flapping. It's not fake. This could be some dragon footage that was captured during this recent eclipse. Dragon rabbit hole before we tie this back into sentient serpent beings. Worldwide references to great dragons like Leviathan, Tiamat, Jorgenmonder. Why would the Bible compare the greatest enemy to a great dragon if it wasn't real? Plus tons of historical accounts of real knights fighting real dragons. I'll accounts like St. George, or dragons terrifying whole towns and scorching them to fire, or expeditions of men who took journeys to hunt them down, all over Europe, plus the royal family crest and shields over time. Check out this old coat of arms from England in the 1500s. See the dragon. Also, old dictionaries say that dragons are just rare as of a couple hundred years ago still, and that word dinosaur was kind of just recently invented to refer to the brute beast, serpent genetic, dragon, dinosaur making beings, fallen angel messing with reptile genetics, into all creatures. Also in Sanskrit writings, Buddhism, Hinduism, Japan, and China all talk about the Takshaka, flying snake beings, and the 8 great dragon kings, spanning many cultures. Back to sentient reptilian beings. Some have really fascinating stories like the Nomalei I mentioned, involving sky stones and the sky falling. Humanoid serpent beings that came from the sky, and when they fell from heaven, part of the sky turned to stone and fell with them. Tons of strange blue stones called sky stones have been found, and archaeologists don't know what to make of the stones when analyzed. Also, some of this firmament blue stone sky ice has been found and documented in Antarctica as well. Random reptilian segue, check out this picture of BP Richfield. Imagine him talking to you in person, a sentient reptile. Might be kind of terrifying. Native American legends are plentiful, from the Navajo to the Anasazi, with fascinating stories about reptile beings with halo, putting whole tribes under mind control and mass disappearances. Fascinating. Also, some of these tribes also have the Old Testament history that they sing, and the elders knew this. Could there be related to the tribes? Anyway, the link here, as you may or may not know, in Hebrew, seraphim, a class of angel, actually means fiery serpent, flying fiery serpents. So how about a fallen one, and then the offspring that they physically or genetically conducted? Even the Sumerian tablets kind of show this, as well as Genesis 6 explaining it, and the Book of Enoch. This also ties in the right to the rule coming from the stars, ancient bloodlines, and even the Canaanite lineage. Making sense? Video plug, Mark of Cain, possibly vampirism, Dragon Man, on my page. So this brings the question, if dragons still exist, where are they? We're going to explore an idea of putting possible truth in fiction, and even cartoons. Let's check out the 80s classic He-Man for the dragon answer. Aside from a constant dragon story thread, including many archetypes that always make their way into fiction involving dragons, such as volcanoes, caves, living away from men, having special powers, crystal balls or dragon pearls, empowered artifacts, wise with powers, and needing special weapons to kill them, etc. But 2 really fascinating tidbits in their storyline plot. One was that there was actually a 1,000-year dragon treaty with man, and kinda that these sentient dragon reptilian beings chose not to interact with humans, well, because if you were separated from society, would you really want to come back and interact with? Also themes of them being bound or imprisoned for a time. Check out my Azazel Fallen Angel burial site video. Final and most fascinating bit mentions a dragon ritual that they can perform involving a heavy amount of magic where they can become a man. They lose all their powers, and they retain the form of a man for the rest of their life. And they can live for thousands of years. Good old 80s cartoons and esoteric secrets. So we have a range from dragons, more on the brute beast side, possibly like the dinosaur understanding, all the way to the super wise, sentient, powerful dragon beings, or reptilian humanoid figures. Could be offspring, or some sort of way that the fallen angels have manifested themselves, or their line has manifested. Every culture's referenced it. Also, the inference is that the original seraphim, the unfallen ones, are still fiery serpent type of beings. The whole Bible is a story of 2 bloodlines, one of them being the seed of the serpent, a serpentine reptilian bloodline. Adding data from mass UFO experiences and modern day researchers like David Icke, rumors of the royal family, celebrities, etc. Commonalities include shapeshifting, which the Bible mentions Lucifer can do and appears an angel of light, and also some sort of frequency manipulation that somehow manipulates the visual cortex of humans and makes them sort of see what they want them to see. Some sort of simulated deceptive veil. Also mind control jewelry with tech from fallen angels. Demon-infused or special technology infused into rings that manipulate the mental field of people around them and make it easier for them to persuade them. Some weird Masonic rings are even rumored to have this effect. Exert a supernatural influence and perpetuate some sort of illusion and mental control. Could this ancient bloodline still be active behind the scenes, underground calling the shots, influencing humanity? And how does the mystery of very rare blood types and the Rh negative scale and even other rare blood types play into all this? Seeing how every culture has documented this, and it's in tons of religious texts, and even modern day research and accounts, but it's probably just all made up. You know what, maybe this conspiracy actually isn't all that. It's all good, remember there is a happy ending. The book of Isaiah talks about the twisting serpent, the Leviathan, being defeated, and the book of Revelation talks about that great dragon, Satan, being defeated by the blood of the Lamb, Jesus Christ, and by the word of your testimony. Keep fighting the good fight, and stick around for what all this has to do with some of the deepest secrets of alchemy. See you next time.
Am I the only one that feel like time is moving faster after the solar eclipse? Am I the only one that's feeling all these weird symptoms after the solar eclipse? While everyone was arguing about the world coming to the end, CERN actually reversed time. They're trying to push us back into the dark ages. This woman that just unalived herself and her entire family, and they're trying to blame it on spirituality or astrology. This was all part of the plan. It was also part of the plan to make sure conspiracy theorists argue with regular people about the world coming to the end. That really split everyone in half. But the conspiracy theories are over here in their little private world, and everyone else is in their private world. This is all a game. While people are playing chess, checkers, the elites are playing the Matrix. Now, since there is a split or a parallel world between spiritual people and non-spiritual people, they're making it seem like spiritual people are really crazy. This is where spiritual psychosis is now coming in. This is all a big game. They're trying to push us back into the dark ages. Remember in the dark ages where witches, witchcraft, spirituality, anything dealing with crystals or any kind of magic, it was banned in the world. If you was doing any kind of magic or any kind of spells, they will hunt you down. That sounds like what's happening right now. That's what CERN did during the solar eclipse. We was trying to get more energy from the solar eclipse, and CERN used our negative energy to make time actually reverse. Time is now going backward. It tricked us all of our lives and said time only moves forward. That's another lie. Time is now moving faster for spiritual people and is moving backwards or slower for people that's not spiritual. They put a split in our subconscious mind once again. Anytime you speak any kind of spiritual knowledge, they say that's fear mongering. But I used to watch TV, ABC, CNN, Fox. All they do was talk about fear mongering. In fact, they was the ones telling people to buy the glasses because you might go blind if you don't have the glasses. What happened to this? I hear some people saying spirituality isn't for everyone. What do you mean spirituality isn't for everyone? We are all spirit, so spirituality is who we are. Spirituality is not no practice. It's not no game. It's your true identity. But they making it seem like spirituality is a bad thing. This is all part of the game. It's all part of the plan. It's to make you doubt anything spiritual about yourself. Remember, we in the age of them trying to unalive the spirit. If they can remove spirituality from this planet, game is over. Game is over for us, not for them. What took place during this time shift or this solar eclipse, it was all a part of the universe plan. A lot of people taking it the wrong way. This split between spiritual people and non-spiritual people, this is really the new earth. Remember, you cannot fact check a free thinker. But once again, these are my own words and my own personal thoughts. I am a free thinker, therefore you can't fact check my information.